In an exclusive interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity, he was asking WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange about the source of his leaks in the dump during the height of the election season.
Can you tell the American people 1,000% you did not get it from Russia or anybody associated with Russia?
We can say, we have said repeatedly over the last 2 months that our source is not the Russian government and it is not a state party.
All right, that, of course, part one of Sean's interview with Julian Assange, and it airs tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on Hannity on the Fox News channel. All right, the party panel is back to discuss Kirsten Haglund, Levy, and Lachlan Markay. So what do you think of Assange's comment that you really shouldn't believe the hype?
You know, as someone who published a lot based on the Podesta emails that they leaked, I do not trust a word that Julian Assange says. I tried to judge the content on its merits and whether I thought that that was authentic. But
did you think it was all authentic?
Yes, the Podesta emails I did. I thought there was enough corroboration, and I think they would have denied it so immediately if any of it had been fake.
Yeah.
But Julian Assange is explicitly anti-American in his views. He has stated that his goal is to render the U.S. government, which he calls an authoritarian conspiracy, completely inoperable by making internal communication impossible.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think his motives on their own, especially for folks on the right, you know, we should really be, at the very least, wary, and at most, you know, just don't believe a word he says.
Yeah, because you have to know he's got some opposition research on the other side.
How could he even know if he was getting this information? I mean, the person is not going to say, "Hi, I'm from the Russian government. Here are John Podesta's emails."
Hello, I work for DNC. Nothing to see here.
It's the idea that he would even, you know, have any idea just beggars belief.
All right, but I also don't believe the president. I don't take him at face value when he talks about all the security agencies have said it's just Russians hacking, because I think, and I've said this on the air a bunch of times, I think our cybersecurity sucks, especially at the federal level, and I think everyone wants to get into it.
Yeah, look, I've been saying since this whole Russia hacked the election thing started, which, by the way, is the dumbest phrase in the world, but until we see evidence, and by we I mean the American people, of what exactly Russia did or didn't do,
that's what I want to know. Like, what did they do?
Right.
What did they do? And okay, let's say that Hillary Clinton's email investigation never happened. Would the Podesta emails have been enough to sink her? And also, with the revelations we had from the emails that were lawfully released versus the Podesta emails, do you think people can reasonably separate the two and the content of the two?
Well, the thing is, I don't think there was anything in the Podesta emails that the ordinary American person really cared about. It was mostly it was fun inside politics stuff for us to talk about and whatever. But I think that alone, that wasn't even close to being, I don't even think it was a medium-sized factor in the election. That said, I agree with Lachlan. I don't believe a word Assange says, again, absent evidence. Also, he could be telling the truth in the sense that the person who gave it to him may not be related to Russia, because Russia could have given it to that person to give to Assange.
But we also don't know the relationship between hackers and the Russian government.
Right, because there are so many different hacking organizations, that some that we know about, some that we have absolutely no idea. I remember Guccifer, you know, he was, you know, maybe working by himself, maybe working with others. There's just so much that you don't know. Also, politics makes strange bedfellows. It's so fascinating now that some members of the Trump administration or Trump supporters are willing to look at Julian Assange as this beacon of light and truth, when just a few years ago, when before he was endangering American lives, right, because they were releasing the names of these people, special ops, et cetera. So you just have to be really, really careful and make sure that the intelligence doesn't get politicized. Right now, that seems to be happening. CIA, FBI going against one another, then the Obama administration saying something else. We need to make sure this isn't politicized if we're going to keep, especially cybersecurity, a top priority.